Hey, thanks for joining Garrett's Writing Corner. Today we're going to talk about 4 building blocks of story and how they funnel into the glue of story that keeps it all together. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is character. Your characters are super important in your story. If you don't have great characters, your readers are going to put your book down. So we'll talk about how to make we'll talk about how to make them interesting. The second thing we're going to talk about is plot, which is the sequence of events that happen in your story. The third thing we're going to talk about is setting. Where your character or where your story is set plays a major role in your story and offers cool limitations, and we'll talk about that. The fourth one we're going to talk about is social milieu, which is the social setting of your story. So all of these funnel into the glue of a good story, which is character conflict. So let's break down character conflict a little bit more. We can break that into 2 buckets. Put character conflict up at the top. And we'll break that down into internal conflict and external conflict. So internally, in my opinion, this would be where number 1 up top fits in. Everything funnels to your characters and their internal struggles that they have, what they want versus what they currently have, or really it's your character arcs that make differences here. You need to show a change in your characters throughout your story, and this is done internally. Really, there's internal conflicts going on with your characters that you need to be able to show in external ways. Now, external character conflict is conflict that is pushed upon your characters through outside sources. And you can do this by using plot or your setting or the social milieu. Now, in a way, each of these things acts as a separate character. So your plot can tie into character conflict and funnel up to internal conflict by having side characters make choices that your main character then has to deal with. Plot is essentially the sequence of events in which your main character makes decisions. In and of itself, it can be used kind of like a character through side characters making these decisions. So setting funnels into, that's cool. So setting funnels into internal conflict. In a myriad of interesting ways. I think Brandon Sanderson does a great job of making his setting, the worlds that he builds, part of the character conflict, because he uses his settings to make characters make decisions. A good example of this is in the Stormlight Archive. He has these high storms that ravage the cities, ravage the world that he's built, and these characters have to make decisions every time that there's a high storm because they're dangerous. So you can use your setting in interesting ways as a character itself to force your main characters into different decisions and drive your plot forward. Social milieu is interesting because it's internal and it's also external. It's internal in that your main character fits into the social milieu somewhere, and it's external because they're expected to act a certain way and certain things will be pushed upon your main character. So if you can get your character to go against a social milieu internally, then it creates fun conflict. But only if everybody else also adheres to that social milieu. Not everybody, but like the majority of people. That's what makes it a social setting. But this could be, class systems. Where does your character fit into the class system? It could be, slavery. Is your character a slave? Are they a slave owner? There's a lot of different ways where the social milieu could play a part in your story and force your characters to make decisions. And decision making is really what stories are all about. If you can get your characters to make decisions, sometimes decisions that make sense, that are against what they originally wanted, then you have a good story. Everyone likes proactive characters. Character conflict is a great way to introduce this proactiveness into your characters and force them to make decisions. So get your characters to make decisions. Let me know if I missed anything. I'm sure there's a better way to explain this that many of you have thought of. But if you like the content, please like and subscribe. And let me know in the future if there's any other topics that you want me to cover.